So there we have it. The Washington Commanders are actively shopping running back Brian Robinson, and everyone's going to be quick to celebrate. But let's actually talk about it. Is the Washington Commanders being smart for actively shopping running back Brian Robinson, or are they making a huge mistake? Let's talk about it.
Shout out to Juan Gotti Talking Sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Juan Gotti Talking Sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries? Like,
stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty's love again now, she's confident.
So, breaking news, Washington is actively shopping Brian Robinson. And I first want to start by saying, your man Juan Gotti got to start trusting these beat reporters that cover the Washington Commanders. Because a couple days ago, Ben Standing, formerly of The Athletic, came out and said he does not expect Brian Robinson to make this 53-man roster. And myself and other Washington Commanders fans said, Ben, you tripping. And it's not because we think Brian Robinson is just this untouchable back. We just felt like overall, talent-wise, the Washington Commanders running back room couldn't afford to lose a caliber back of Brian Robinson. But boy, are we potentially wrong. As with Brian Robinson being on the trade block, that means two things. Bill, Jacory, Krosky, Mert is just as advertised. And they think this guy can be a day one starter. And I remember, I said I expect Bill to take over running back one duties at week 8. Bro, we about to play our second preseason game tomorrow. And he's already potentially about to be running back one. I think the writing's on the wall for Brian Robinson as it is now. But if Bill goes out there and have a fantastic game, oh man, this is going to happen. You know what I mean? And for me personally, I think Washington's running back room, the reason why you have Brian Robinson being expendable is because we have another back that can do Brian Robinson things. We don't have another back that can do Bill, Jacory, Krosky, Mert things. We don't have another running back that can do Austin Ekeler things. Maybe Jeremy McNichols, but I doubt it. And you have Chris Rodriguez. So does this mean Washington is confident in the three backs of Bill, Austin Ekeler, and Jeremy McNichols? Or are they rolling with 4, and the 4 being C-Rod, Bill, Austin Ekeler, and Jeremy McNichols? If I had to go out on a limb and take a guess, I would go out and say they're keeping 3 running backs. Because if you keep 4 backs, there's no way you don't keep Brian Robinson as one of the 4 backs. Because I like Chris Rodriguez. I think he comes in late stages of the season when given opportunities. But for me, it's like, would you rather have Chris Rodriguez, Brian Robinson, or Jeremy McNichols? And I'll tell you this. Out of all 3 of those guys that are expendable, I would much rather have Brian Robinson and C-Rod. So if it was a guy that I felt like was on the outside looking in, I would have thought it would have been Jeremy McNichols. And I get he plays special teams duties and stuff like that, but I felt like C-Rod is a guy that you can get back if he doesn't make this active roster. Jeremy McNichols is a guy that if you decide to move on from him, he's valuable across the league, so someone's going to easily snatch him up. So he's going to have a dominant training camp and preseason to stay on this roster. And quite frankly, I haven't heard much about him. So could they be moving on from 2 running backs? I think so. I don't see you keeping 4 backs and Brian Robinson not being one of them. He has to be one of them. And if you're serious about trading him and actively shopping him, then that puts a fork in 4 backs. Because you can't sit up here and tell me whether you like Brian Robinson or not, he's not one of the 4 best running backs on this roster right now. Chris Rodriguez, Brian Robinson, Bill, Austin Eckler, Jerry McNichols, Demetrius Felton. Out of all these guys, you telling me Brian Robinson ain't one of the best 4? So that makes me believe they're keeping 3 backs. That's why they're expending Brian Robinson. That's the truth right there. I think it's less about the reason of Bill being damn good and more so just about I'm not keeping 4 running backs. Yeah, of course, Bill playing at the high level that I think we all expect him and think he can do as a 7th-round rookie, I think he'll be damn good. But I think it's more so about we got this rookie. He is that good. But that just made one of these guys expendable. And out of all these guys, I think Brian Robinson can net us the most value. And we can also easily replace his production. That's what it is. Had Brian Robinson been one of a kind on this roster per se, they wouldn't go in, they wouldn't trade him. But he doesn't have nothing that stands out. Everything Brian Robinson can do, Chris Rodriguez can do. Everything Brian Robinson can do, in my opinion, honestly, Bill can do and more. So that's the reason why he's expendable. And truthfully be told, I'm not against it whatsoever because he is valued across the league. He is a quality back in this league. And if you look at our roster of the running back position, he is the only one that can give you true trade value. And I don't know if you guys been paying attention, but Trey Hendrickson is now available for trades in Cincinnati. And if I can remember Cincinnati's backfield, is it something along the lines of Chase Brown and everyone else? So maybe we're cooking up a package that gets Brian Robinson and a couple picks for Trey Hendrickson, maybe, right? I said all along, I think the Washington Commanders. I go back in the archives because I'm not welling when I say that, or say this, I should say. I'm being truthful. I said Washington will trade for Trey Hendrickson at the trade deadline. I said that months ago. And now that they're listening to trade offers for Trey Hendrickson, and so are we listening for Brian Robinson, it lines up perfectly. It lines up perfectly. Whether we believe he gets traded now or we trade him at the trade deadline, I think you wait at the trade deadline because you allow Brian Robinson. Because we know B-Rob, first half of the season, he gonna be damn good. It's when he gets hurt, that's when he goes downhill. So I think if you wait and you let him put a couple games out on tape and on film and he has a couple good games, then you trade him, whether it's Cincinnati, whether whoever, so that way you can get the most value as possible. I think you hold on to B-Rob the trade deadline. That's what I think you do. I think you actively shop him for the first couple months of the season. And when we get to the trade deadline, that's when you trade him because then the value could be high. You could get a 3rd-round pick out of him like you did Jahan Dawson before the season starts, but I don't know if you'll be able to fleece another team like you did Philly. Maybe AP can do that, but who knows? All I know is Brian Robinson's tail, it's good as gone at some point. Now, Juan, how do you genuinely feel about this? Do you think this is a mistake by the Washington Commanders? Honestly, I don't. I don't at all. I think the running back room is oversaturated as it is. And as I mentioned already, I think this made somebody expendable. And they looked at this whole entire running back room and said, out of all of these guys, which one of these guys are expendable? Who can we get value out of? Who can we afford to lose? And they looked at number 8 and said, hey, B-Rob, you're the guy that I think we not only can live with letting walk or trade rather, but we're going to get something back. I think you try to trade a Chris Rodriguez, you ain't getting nothing. You try to trade a Jerry McNichols, you ain't getting anything. You're not getting nothing for Bill because we hype him up. We think he's really good, but no one knows what that 7th-round pick really is outside of Washington. So they're not giving you anything for him, and they're not trading anything for Austin Eckler. So it's like this was the only person that truly gave you value. And for me, I am ultra Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray running back 1. This heightens that to a new level. And let him go out there tomorrow and have a damn good game. It's going to take it to a whole nother level. And as you guys know, your man Juan Gotti will be live in attendance tomorrow at Northwest Stadium for the game. So if you guys see me or anything like that, pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you call into the Command Extra post-game show, as the number will be on the screen. We're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Juan Gotti Command Extra post-game show is back for yet another season. Following each and every Washington Commanders game, call into the number 240-804-7327 to have your voice heard on the show. Win, lose, or draw, happy, upset, or mad, make sure you call into that number, because I want to hear from you after every single game. And that's where we're going to recap this game tomorrow and every single game for the Washington Commanders season. Call into the number and call into the Command Extra post-game show. But that being said, I'm interested. I'm intrigued to see what we do. Who are some people and teams that are interested? I've seen someone say Carolina, but they have Chuba Hubbard, and you know he's damn good, right? Maybe he goes that way. It's interesting to see who we in fact trade him to, but he's good as gone, man. It's not if, it's just when. And I know B-Rob has a lot of stands in the fan base. A lot of people love B-Rob. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, we have a back that we potentially think is better. And you can't fault the organization for taking a chance on him, right? Like, say this. Say Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray, they take a risk on him and give him an opportunity to be running back 1. What are you truly losing for that? Hear me out now. Before the Brian Robinson fans that think we're making a horrible decision, hear me out. Brian Robinson's on the last year of his contract, so he's not getting a contract extension here in Washington. What are you losing by taking a risk on a 7th-round rookie that you think highly of? Everyone thinks highly of. And then you have an easy Brian Robinson replacement. Again, this isn't a guy that's been putting up 1,100, 1,200, 1,000 yards even, right? So it ain't like he's been killing it. He's easily replaceable. He is. I love B-Rob. I love the kind of person he is. I love the tenacity he's played with, all the adversity he's dealt with in his professional career and life. He's bounced back from. And he'll be damn serviceable as a running back 2 on somebody's roster. Think Detroit. He will. It's oversaturated. And they're not wrong. If there was one guy that I would be in on trading or moving, it would be him, because he gives us the most value, and he's the one that you can replace the most. Again, you can't replace Austin Eckler that simply. You can't replace Bill. You can replace Brian Robinson, though. And you already have his replacement, C-Rod. Or maybe we go Bill, Austin, and Jeremy McNichols. That could very well be the case as well, too. You got Jeremy, who's more of your third down back. I know Eck is really a damn good third down back as well, but maybe he assumes a bigger role. Even though I know he said he came here for a lesser role last year, maybe he takes on a bigger role. And it's Bill, Eck, and McNichols. That could be a possibility too. Because again, C-Rod is a practice squad demon. He's not going anywhere. No one's clamoring for Chris Rodriguez if he hits the waivers. So if that could be the case as well too. But B-Rob's out of here soon, at some point. And you got to give all credit to Ben Standen, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think this was going to be the case. When I first heard the news, I said, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But after thinking about it, yeah, I could see it. And I'm not against it whatsoever. So I don't think the Washington Commanders are making a mistake. They're rolling the dice. And I'd rather have a GM that's interested in rolling the dice to come up big than to play it safe and be scared. They're taking a chance on the rookie. And again, Brian Robinson isn't somebody you stop that for. you try this because you can afford to lose a Brian Robinson. But that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out SeatGeek sponsor. Use code JuanGotti to get 10% off your first purchase. Like, comment, subscribe, help to watch the grand as I catch y'all later. See y'all tomorrow at the game. Peace.
Never gave a ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.